Hello photographers, my name is Spyros Heniadis and this is where I answer your photography questions and we learn about photography together. And this week we are talking about how to change the metering mode on your camera. We talked about how the camera meter actually works. We talked about what the different metering modes on the camera do. And now for those of you who don't know how to change the metering mode, well, I'm going to show you how to do it. Now, changing the metering mode, of course, is going to vary from camera to camera, but generally speaking, you'll be able to access the metering mode in at least one of three different ways. First, on your camera, you may have a dedicated button for changing the metering mode. And it's typically more advanced cameras that have the button. So for Canon, we're talking any camera above the 60D, the 70D, the 7D, and on up. And for Nikon, it's the D7000 and above that. And for Pentax cameras, this is the K5 series and above that. These cameras all have a dedicated metering button on the camera. The button is typically marked with the symbol for the zone metering mode, which will look something like this. And when you press that button, as you can see here on the Canon 60D, the top LCD screen activates. And on the 60D, you spin the jog dial to select the desired metering mode. For Nikon cameras, you press and hold the button and you spin the back control dial to choose the desired metering mode. And on the Pentax K3, it works exactly the same as it does on the Nikon. You press and hold the button and you spin the back dial. On earlier Pentax cameras with a dedicated button, it's actually not a button but a switch, which is pretty nice because it's a switch right by the mode dial and you just flip it to the metering mode that you want to use. Having a dedicated button for the metering mode is the quickest and easiest way to access changing the metering mode on your camera. But if your camera doesn't have a dedicated metering mode button, then you're going to be changing the metering mode via the quick menu option. And the quick menu is available on pretty much every modern DSLR. And when I say modern, I mean within the last 5 to 6 years. If you have an older model DSLR, you may not have the quick menu, so you need to check and see if you have one. On Canon cameras, the quick menu is accessed via the Q button on the back of the camera, which brings up the full quick menu of options on the back LCD. And from there, you navigate to the metering mode option using the arrow or directional buttons on your camera. And the metering mode again will be indicated by an icon, but this time it will be indicated by whatever the currently selected metering mode is. So you may see any one of these icons depending on the metering mode you last selected. On Nikon cameras, you access the quick menu via the I button, as you can see on the D3300 here. Just like on the Canon, when you press the I button on a Nikon camera, the full quick menu is going to be brought up on the back LCD screen, and you navigate to the metering mode, which again will be indicated by the last selected metering mode that you chose. On a Pentax camera, the button is labeled Info, and just like on the other cameras, when you press this button, it's going to bring up the full info menu on the back LCD screen. Regardless of your camera, once you've navigated to the metering mode option in the quick menu, you press the center OK button on your camera, and then you choose your desired metering mode from your options and press OK again to confirm. And once you've done that, you are ready to start shooting with your new metering mode. The last way to change the metering mode is going into the camera's menu system. And I'm not going to show you how to do this because the camera menus are continuously changing and evolving. But if you have a dedicated button or a quick menu option, then I highly recommend you use those because going into the menu for most anything is a much slower way to do it. If you have an older DSLR, that's the option that you have to use, which isn't the worst thing in the world. It's just not going to be as fast as a dedicated button or a quick menu option. All right, guys, that's all I've got for you this week. Short and sweet and to the point. And remember, if you want to learn about how the camera meter actually works or what all your different metering modes actually do, click either one of these two annotations right here. And if you have any questions at all about changing the metering mode on your camera, leave me a question down in the comments below. And while you're down there, do me a favor and hit me with the link to your favorite photo that you have ever taken. Show me what you guys got. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel, but most importantly, get out there, take some damn photos, guys, and I will see you next week. Oh my God, look how pretty!